All right, Coach. You just give us a opening statement after your opening round win there, 7-1 over Wichita State.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's great to be back here in Clearwater. Been coaching Division One baseball now for 15 years, and this is about as first class of a postseason event as that gets put on. So, um, it's just it's a great setup. Administrators, everybody, just um, the Thrashers, everybody's super welcoming. Our guys are having a great time. I think that carries into the game today, just as far as the energy from the guys. We're certainly going to feel very good with running Blake Gillespie, the conference pitcher of the year, out there in game one. And it's just he kind of makes it look easy, but I can assure you, as we all know, it's not. He's just so consistent in his preparation. He has been certainly since arriving and even before arriving to us at Charlotte. And I'm just really glad that everybody, here in Clearwater on this stage is getting to witness it. So, positionally, I give our offense a ton of credit for, getting one in the first, three in the second, and two in the third. Just allowing Blake to have that length, that margin of error to kind of, make his pitches. And, but again, to Blake's credit, he pitches kind of with that 1-0 mentality each and every pitch. And that's what the best ones do. And he's one of the best I've ever coached. So pass it off to Chase Carson for 5 pitches there, really efficient, 9th inning against a really good Wichita State lineup for the win. But, to me also, definitely want to highlight a little bit. I mean, that, Camden Johnson for them, he I think in the 7th or the 8th, he goes into like a full lower body cramp and gutted it to go back out there to third, and then comes back in and has a big RBI hit for them. And I just want to acknowledge that because that's a real gutsy thing to do on his part. So again, to get back to our guys, Logue behind the dish was sensational, and then kind of that stretch of Juan Rivera setting the table, Logan Poteet hitting the ball hard, and then Bryce Bain and Nolan combining for 6 hits for us was just really big.
All right, we'll open it up in the room for any questions, and then we'll send it online. Please put your hand up online. If you have a question, we'll call on you.
So, Coach, when it comes to tournament time, there's always a philosophical discussion about whether to start your ace in the first game. You did that. What went into that thought? Was the possibility of bringing it back later on or getting in the winner's break?
We talk about a lot of scenarios as a staff, and we tend to operate like if you're unsure, the answer is no. And so it was kind of like a bunch of scenarios that we talked through about, not starting Blake or keeping him on a limited pitch count and this and that. Ultimately, hey, once the game started, we're glad Blake was out there because, I think it was right there in the 3rd or 4th inning. They had 2 guys on and one of their best guys up, and they're one swing away from it being a 6-3 game. And Blake had to make a pitch, and credit to him, he did. So we try not to really overthink it this time of year. Just sort of take it one day at a time. We also think the format is set up to where earning the day off tomorrow is pivotal. We also have a ton of confidence in our total depth on the mound. But with days off, that depth gets improved. So, ultimately we just decided to stay the course and go with Blake game 1.
Batters have been really hot in the season, kept that up to date. How important is that to keep the momentum going?
Yeah, our offense, I think the last 10 games, I think we're probably averaging 8 or 9 runs per game. And, to have a pitching staff that's really battled all year. I give our hitters and position guys who've prevented tons of runs defensively. They've continued to work in the batter's box and with Coach Sieb and Coach Bick and the cages and every single day. And they're relentless workers, and it's great to see. We talk about in our program all the time. Hard work always pays off. You just don't know when. And I'm just thankful that really the last few weeks it's been awesome. It's just been very connected at bats. We've really bought into the mentality of just being a connected offense and not, we don't have to actually get a hit to have production. So there's just a lot of different ways we can do that, and the guys have really bought into that, and it's been helping.
One more, Coach. You talked about Blake's mentality. Every pitch is like a one-run game. He had the run eighth inning. Seen almost hold his head down a little bit coming in the dugout, but still, that with the lead. What does that tell you about him and his mentality?
He's easily one of the best pitchers, one of the best competitors I've ever gotten to coach in 15 years of doing this. I just genuinely enjoy watching him pitch. And yeah, to your point, when you have a 1-0 mentality and you give up that run, you're gonna be, you're gonna react a little bit like that because that's the mindset. And thankfully, it wasn't actually 1-0, but and he went right back out there and got us back in the dugout. But for me, I hope everyone can really appreciate, getting to watch Blake, the conference pitcher of the year, pitch today, and he's done that every single week for us since he's been here, and we never take it for granted.
All right, Andrew online, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So you mentioned your offense. You guys are doing this without Cody Gunderson, who's been out the last 10 games. Talk about just how Juan Rivera has stepped up, being a leadoff hitter. Obviously, the offense stayed hot at Tulane last week, and Juan was a big part of that.
Yeah, Juan was one of our best hitters in the fall. He only struck out one time the entire fall, and we call pitches as a coaching staff, and we're every scrimmage trying to fight like heck to strike this kid out, and he was just tough as nails. And so a little bit of calibrating as early season for him to to the level, but yeah, he's been on it for us the last few weeks, and it's just been a spark plug and a catalyst. Reminds me a lot of one of my former teammates, Mike Cavassini, that hit leadoff for us in the 2006 and 2007 College World Series. Just a tough as nails, left-handed leadoff hitter. So just, he's been big for us. But I grew up a diehard UNC basketball fan, and Dean Smith is actually one of the coaches that motivated me, or inspired me, I should say, to get into this profession even when I was a kid. And he said one time, one of the best players on their team got hurt in a big part of the season, and he talked about in a post-game press conference how he's a believer that when one of your team's best players goes down, that the collective group can actually rise above, a level that they've even performed at up until that point. And there's a vibe with our team that we don't talk a whole lot about what we're missing or what we don't have. We just talk about, solutions and the opportunities that we do have. And I give our guys and give our team a ton of credit for how they've responded.
Anything else online?
Coach, one more for you. Talked about the vibe of the team. You were in the 7-2 matchup last year. 7-2 here, but you're the 2 seed this year. What did you see the growth of your team this season?
Yeah, it's a completely different group, to be honest with you. Same standards, and last year's team worked extremely hard, and the culture was great, but it's just, I would just say, the consistency ultimately. I mean, it's just sort of this has been a team that we haven't allowed ourselves to really get discouraged when we feel like we're not playing to our potential, and we feel like when we do play well, we don't get too high, and we don't think we've got it all figured out. We kind of just embrace the fact that we're playing well, and we want to continue doing that, and we try to not mess with it. So just a little bit more consistent group, and I think it starts in the weight room with Eric McKibben, our strength coach, and then with our assistant coaches and positional skill training and those types of things all the way back in August. And thankfully now everyone's getting to see that hard work pay off.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll have Blake Gillespie at the podium now. All right, Blake, just to start off, obviously conference pitcher of the year, congratulations. Got that news yesterday, and then you come out today and 8 innings, 13 strikeouts, which, don't quote me, might be a conference tournament record. Ties a record for the conference tournament. So just talk about the last 2 days for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. Just super grateful for everyone in my corner, everyone believing in me, Coach Woodard recruiting me this summer and giving me the opportunity to come here to Charlotte, and just super grateful for all my teammates and coaches.
Questions from the room?
So Blake, first game of the tournament, they call on you to make the start. How's it feel to know you came through for the guys today with a big performance?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, we always talk about just taking it one pitch at a time, one game at a time. So I'm just glad we got the win today, and we'll move on to the next game.
Yeah, Jared Morris of D1 Baseball. When you know your slider's on early, just how much confidence does that give you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot. It's kind of my go-to pitch, and when I'm locating it well and mixing in all my other pitches with it, just gives me a lot of confidence to go out there and attack and throw my best stuff right at it.
Andrew online, go ahead.
Hey Blake, congrats on a great year, obviously. Did you know that you also, I think one of your family members tweeted this at me. You broke the single season record for the most strikeouts by a Canadian pitcher in D1 history?
Yeah, I mean, I had kind of heard about that a little bit, but try not to focus on the results and just stay in my process. But hearing that now, it's pretty cool. I'm honored.
Okay. Anything else online or in the room for Blake? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks.